Hello everyone, welcome to Minimal Mindful Mama. I'm Katie Mixon and I like to make videos that help busy moms to simplify, organize, and declutter their lives so that you can spend less time cleaning and organizing and more time living the life that you want to live. I'm really excited to share today's video with you. I've mentioned before in one of my previous videos how I wanted to and recently kind of DIY refinished my kitchen table and actually my chairs as well. So today I'm going to just be walking you through that process and how I did it and then showing you how it turned out, and I'm really excited to share this video with you. Be sure to hit the like button down below and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have new videos come out every Tuesday and most Thursdays as well. So if you go ahead and ring that little bell button, you'll get notified so that you won't miss out on any of my content. So as you can see, this is what my kitchen table looked like before. It had paint on it and it had water damage. And I had been wanting to refinish it, but it's actually one of the tables where it's not made out of real wood. It's like this paper cardboard kind of stuff, which I hadn't realized, and so that made it so that we weren't really able to just sand it down and refinish it like we would with a real table. So I was kind of at a loss as far as what to do, but one of my friends on Instagram and I, Jessica, were actually having a conversation where she was talking about how she DIY'd her countertops using contact paper. And so I had the idea to go ahead and try to do that with my kitchen table as well. And so I just lightly sanded the whole thing, and I wanted to paint the legs as well. So of course, first I used primer in High Hiding White to try to cover and make everything just stick really nicely when I did go to paint it. And then I used the leftover paint from my kitchen cabinets that is called Blackish by the brand Claire, which I absolutely loved on my cabinets. And I decided to go ahead and use some of the leftovers from that on the kitchen table as well. As I was doing this project, I was noticing more and more how sad our table chairs were as well. We had gotten them off of someone's curb a while back, and we used to have a dog as well, and he had totally chewed up the legs of these chairs, so they were just very damaged at this point, and the covers were pretty stained, and even though I shampoo them pretty regularly, I felt like they could use a good freshening up since I was doing the table as well. So I sanded down the wooden parts of the chairs. My daughter helped me to undo all of the screws to remove the covers from the seats. And then I was able to sand underneath where the seat usually goes as well. If you're doing a project not in the winter time, I don't really recommend sanding in your house because there will be a layer of sawdust over everything, which does take a really long time to clean. However, it was so cold outside and we don't really have any outdoor kind of workspace, and so I decided that it was worth cleaning up the house afterwards just to be able to work inside in the warmth. I also felt like this was a really good project for my kids to practice painting, since I don't really want them doing anything on the walls or any other projects that I care how it turns out. But priming the chairs was a good task for them since it was going to get covered up with the black paint anyway, and was something that I could easily sand out or salvage however I needed to. I then got to work removing all of the staples from the seats. Once I had all of the old staples out, then I was ready to start recovering these seats. If you have young children or babies, I really recommend covering your chairs actually in some form of vinyl. This makes them so easy to just wipe off after they're done eating, and will make your life a lot easier with trying to keep your chairs clean. And then when they're older, you can always remove the vinyl and then have your seat covers underneath that should be looking just like new since they've been protected the whole time that your kids were little. We found this really cool Harry Potter themed like newspaper print type of fabric that we actually decided to use for our recovering of our chairs, since it's black and white and goes with the theme of our house. It took me a couple minutes to figure out the stapler since it's been a while since I've actually done this, but it was definitely worth it. It's important to try to pull your fabric and your vinyl as tight as you can when you're stapling it on, just so that nothing can get trapped underneath. Then after the seats were done and the chairs were primed and had dried overnight, I got to work painting them. I used the same little kitchen cabinet roller that I had used on my cabinets that is supposed to provide a really smooth finish, and I wasn't sure really how it was going to turn out, but I'm really happy with the results after a few coats. After the paint dried overnight, then I went ahead and screwed the seats back onto the chairs. By the time the chairs were done, and I'm so happy with how they turned out, my contact paper, which I chose like a faux wood type of pattern, had arrived in the mail. And so it was time to get back to work on sanding the tabletop. There were several spots of this table that had been really damaged. Water had gotten up underneath just from having kids. And so I really wanted to make sure that I sanded it down and got all of the tabletop completely flat as much as I could. I knew it wouldn't be perfect, but I really didn't want to have any lumps or bumps anymore. When that was finished and the table was completely as even as I could get it, then I wiped it down and it was time to start the contact paper. This was probably the most difficult and time-consuming part of the whole project. Even though the other tasks took a long time to do and you had to go over it and over it, this part I feel like was very high stakes since I really wanted it to look nice and to stick on really well. The directions did say that you could use a hairdryer on the lowest heat setting, so I did end up doing that around some of the corners just to try to get it to really stick on there. Going around the corners was especially tricky, and I'm not sure how long that this little DIY will actually end up lasting us. The goal was to not have to purchase a new table, and so we've accomplished that goal, and I'm really hoping that this lasts long enough to push that back about a year or so. But if it lasts longer than that, I will be very happy and pleasantly surprised. Just based off of the way that the contact paper was having issues sticking, I'm not sure how long term that it will actually manage to last. I am very happy with the way that it looks. However, you know, it's contact paper. It's not actually real wood. It's only the durability that I'm slightly concerned about. But overall, I am really happy with how this project turned out. That is it for today's video. I absolutely love the way that the chairs and the table turned out. It's been making my life so much easier, and I really enjoy having them and how they look. So I'm glad that we were able to do this for a pretty affordable. in a pretty affordable way rather than having to completely replace our dining room set. Thank you so much for watching, and I am looking forward to seeing you very soon in the next video.